Marine litter, including microplastics, is an urgent global issue. Understanding the existing distributions and quantities of them is a vital first step towards solving the problem. And to do so, harmonization of monitoring methods and data sharing is essential. Today, we would like to introduce Japan's efforts in this field. We hope to receive advice and cooperation from you to further promote harmonized monitoring and global data sharing for ocean surface microplastics. Looking back on the past international discussions, G7 LMAL Summit in 2015 acknowledged that marine litter, especially plastics, would pose a global challenge. And at an international expert workshop in 2015 following up the LMAL Summit, it was agreed that Japan would take a leading role in efforts to harmonize the monitoring methods on ocean surface microplastics. Since then, Ministry of the Environment Japan, MOEJ, has been working on this issue. A key outcome of the efforts was the development of guidelines, and the next milestone is the launching of a database. When the development of the guidelines started in 2016, surveys using nets to sample microplastics had already been conducted globally. However, it was difficult to compare and integrate the measured abundances of microplastics due to differences in monitoring methods. Therefore, harmonization of the monitoring was regarded as a priority task. To start with, MOEJ organized international expert meetings, and following their advice, the guidelines were developed based on the results of field surveys and laboratory experiments. In particular, pilot projects were conducted at sea to investigate differences in sampling results by net type, net mesh opening, tow duration, tow position, etc. Also, an inter-laboratory comparison was conducted with cooperation from 12 laboratories in 10 countries to cross-check measured values of standard samples. In addition, findings from published reports, guidelines, and manuals, including the guideline by GESAMP, were reflected. The guidelines were published in 2019 and revised in 2020. They are available at the MOEJ website and the IODE's Ocean Best Practice website. The guidelines are prepared to enable anyone implementing ocean surface microplastic monitoring to design their monitoring protocols, compare the results with other monitoring results, and interpret them based on such comparisons. This diagram shows major recommendations by the guidelines for towing methods. MOEJ has also developed the data entry form sheet and uploaded it to the MOEJ website for the ease of reporting monitoring results following the guidelines. The form covers all data items necessary to enable harmonization and data comparison. In fact, this form is serving as the basis of the data sheet of the database for ocean surface microplastics, which I would like to introduce from the next slide. After the publication of the guidelines, MOEJ held the G20 workshop on harmonized monitoring and data compilation of marine plastic litter in September 2020. About 160 participants from 31 countries attended the workshop, and the importance of globally harmonized monitoring methods and of compiled monitoring data was discussed. MOEJ proposed a monitoring data sharing project at this workshop. Encouraged by the results of the workshop and endorsed by the UN Ocean Decade, MOEJ has been running a project on the development of a database for ocean surface microplastics, which will be launched in 2023. The objectives of the database are to gather monitoring data on the global scale, control the quality of data, especially classify the data for possible comparison based on data items and data acquisition requirements recommended by the guidelines for harmonization of monitoring methodologies, visualize the state of distribution of ocean surface microplastics, and make the information available to the public. Also, the project aims to form a global hub to share information and compile monitoring data of ocean surface microplastics in collaboration with existing and future additional initiatives. To run this project successfully, MOEJ has organized international expert meetings to ask for advice. The meeting consists of experts from relevant initiatives and organizations including GOOSE, EMODNet, and NOAA. At the meetings, for example, the importance of realizing data linkage between data shared through the MOEJ database and those shared through other major data centers is being discussed. MOEJ is collecting monitoring data of ocean surface microplastics to store into the database. The database will contain about 12,000 data from the outset, including those from a project recently published by Isobe et al. The database will provide 3 types of 2-dimensional maps. The survey site distribution map shows both the distribution of the survey sites and particle density of each site. As for the survey density map, the map is divided into grids, and each grid is colored according to its survey density to visualize which area has been frequently researched and which has not. The particle density map is also divided into grids, and each grid is colored according to its particle density. The particle density map is the strength or specialty of this database, which is made available by quality control of data. A global view and local view of each map can be shown by zooming out and zooming in. Policymakers, researchers, and the general public will benefit from not only the collected datasets, but also from comparable data and easy-to-understand maps provided by the database. We would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has kindly shared data to us. Also, we would very much appreciate it if many of you could share your monitoring data to the database. If you have any questions or advice to MOEJ, or if you are interested in collaborating with us to promote harmonization of monitoring methods and data sharing of ocean surface microplastics, please contact us at any time. Thank you for your attention.